Hi everyone, it's Aiden and Rebecca from the Dry Eye Foundation for another live stream. This one is a little bit unplanned, but we have lots to share, so you won't even notice. So I just wanted to, I guess, start out and introduce some of the new concepts that we talked about in the newsletter. So I'm going to start sharing my screen with the somewhat updated version of the Dry Eye Foundation site.
Can I just step in for a sec?
Go for
Anybody
it.
that does not have the newsletter, you know where to subscribe. Go to dryeyefoundation.org. And then what do we do?
Ooh,
There's somewhere on there.
I thought it was
Dryeyefoundation.org.
Connect and mailing list.
Yep, there. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I always thought it was in the footer, but not anymore. Got it. Okay. So we have a couple really new, really exciting things to announce. The first thing is going to be My DEF. And this is part of our new nonprofit customer or contact management system called Neon. We have the ability to let anyone create an account on Dry Eye Foundation. Took us a while to settle on the name, but we went for My DEF. And this is going to be like your login portal to access your donations, register for Zoom events, look at our volunteer projects, and manage your email subscriptions. And the most exciting part of this for us is these accounts will let us offer a membership program. So I'm just gonna take people to My DEF first, and then I think we'll talk about the membership program separately.
Cool.
So this is the login page. Let's just go. I guess I can log in here. So you've got your login page, and there's all these sorts of things you can do. You can update your account profile with some contact information. You can look at your donations. Mine are, oops, pretty sparse here. I hope it doesn't keep doing that. Okay, good. Yeah, this is just a test account. I'm really excited that we got this new calendar up and running. It's a little older looking than the past one that we had, but this is going to be fun on our end because we can track all of our registrations in the system and take a little attendance and see history of who's attended our past events.
I'm really excited about having this to be able for just as a new way for Aiden to manage these events that hopefully will be less work than the old way, but also just like if people register for a Zoom event and then end up not making it, we'd love to be able to send a little summary afterwards. Here's what happened. Here's a link to the video if it's one of the ones that are public, and just be able to follow up with people who miss things, so can fill in some gaps and just keeping in touch better and kind of offering more in the process. And yeah, the look and feel honestly is a little dated in there, but that was a very deliberate trade-off we chose because the software is incredible value for the money. And you know, we're a nonprofit, we're pretty budget constrained, and we want to be good stewards of the money that we have. So we went for rich functionality and being able to offer more and more without taking up more money.
Right. And Rebecca, remind me, we launched this in May or June, Neon itself.
Internally for our management stuff, yeah, it was like mid-May, and we've been gradually migrating different functions in there. So we got like, my first thing was moving the helpline and all of our kind of past and current helpline clients in there so that then we could have Cindy helping with keeping track of everybody, keeping up to date, making appointments and all that in one place. And then we moved on to getting like our donation histories so that we can just keep track of stuff better. And the most recent one that I've been really excited about in there, I'm probably jumping ahead, Aiden, here, not sure where it was, is volunteer projects, because, you know, we've had this database for forever of a lot of terrific people that have reached out to say, or they've checked a box somewhere to say, I'd like to help with something. And we just haven't had we're people constrained and time constrained always. So we haven't really had a platform to help us with that. And now we can just set up new little projects, and they can be easy things, something someone could jump in and do in an hour or maybe longer, or kind of ongoing projects or responsibilities, just things at all levels. So we've just got to start maybe 5 or 6 things in there right now, but we are starting to share those opportunities. And a big part of my hope from that is just to get closer connections with our community, get more conversations going, and giving people opportunities to get involved in ways they might not otherwise. So for me, having the software to do this just makes all the difference in the world. So I just would really encourage everybody to sign up for the MyDeaf platform and be able to take a look at what we've got there.
Yeah, you can. So I was just kind of scrolling through the volunteer projects here. The other thing I wanted to add was the My Dry Eye profile. And man, it's being glitchy.
It was sent that to me. I
Yeah.
don't know if that might just be
Need to
our
clear the cache.
internet
Yeah.
here, because we've been being glitchy generally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have the option to give us more information about your needs and symptoms.
That part's all like optional and voluntary. People have different levels of, do I want to share information? Do I not want to share information? Those are things that may help in the future for kind of determining what kind of emails you want to get, or helping us match people up with people who've got similar interests, or just even keeping track of your own information and maybe thinking of some aspects of your dry eye experience that you haven't put a lot of thought into before.
I would see this as really helpful for new helpline clients too. Just letting them know you can create a MyDeaf account and then go ahead and start your profile, and that'll be visible to us before we have that initial helpline call, or after the first call they can set that up and we can communicate better.
And this is wholly private. I mean, this is not like data we collect and then sell to somebody. Everything that goes into our system stays in our system.
Right. Yeah.
Just for you and us.
Yeah, survey information. If we have more demographic information, or diagnosis information, or symptom information from the people in here, then we can kind of segment and target people if we have research that we're looking
as
for.
Our membership grows, and even people who aren't members but have a MyDeaf account in there too, then we'll be able to break down, who all are we serving? What are their circumstances? What things are they struggling with most? What's their history? So it just we have lots of data from the surveying that we've done, but to be able to do that specifically for our own kind of membership and community here will be cool.
Yeah. All right. So that was MyDeaf. There's a login link pretty prominently here. And we're going to talk about membership. And Rebecca, could you talk about what membership means to us in terms of ongoing support, but also just what it's going to mean for our kind of statistics and talking about ourselves? Like having membership for the foundation is new for us and something that we think we need kind of on our growth path.
Yeah, we have been, Foundation's been in existence formally as a nonprofit since 2018, and we've talked about membership as a possibility ever since then. And there were pros and cons and fors and against, and kind of are we, aren't we ready for that? And just for me, a lot of it's about really, if we're doing it, what are we doing it for? What's the main purpose? My vision for it is primarily as a way for people to engage more, just getting us more connected and talking about more. As we get more in-depth conversations about our community's needs, more ideas are born, more things get done. We're able to just bring about changes better the more we get people engaged, right? So as a platform for engagement, that was my real goal. But as an ongoing means of support, this is becoming more and more important to us. I mean, we have been a low budget outfit since the beginning. We haven't had paid staff until this year. We've got a small payroll for administrative assistance. And now we're getting into areas where we've just got more expenses and we need to be able to fund those expenses. We're getting out to medical conferences now to do our own exhibits. There's costs that come along with that. We've got costs associated with running the helpline. And so we're looking at like, what are some creative ways that we can fund that? We can always be out there doing fundraising. Okay, we're not even super well staffed for that, but as we ask people to join us as members, that's an easy way for people to provide some ongoing support for our just month-to-month operating expenses. And then in terms of numbers, it's kind of a funny thing. Now that we're just seeing more and more visibility, we get contacted by more people and companies and doctors that we weren't familiar with before, and we get asked more and more. So how many of you are there? How many people are there in your organization, or how many people do you serve? And it's kind of hard to come up with numbers for that. It's like, okay, we have a mailing list of about 15,000 people, and yeah, that's a lot, but who's our actual kind of Dry Foundation community? So while that's not a driving factor in doing this, it is going to be a part that we'll enjoy, to be able to say, here's, how we measure our dry eye community here. What else? Did I answer the question, or did I just go
Absolutely,
down
yeah.
the holes?
I just wanted to say one thing. I mean, I think the next thing to talk about is the levels and the benefits of becoming a member. Just quickly here, we have a become a member page where you can sign up. I don't know if it'll let me do this since I'm logged in, probably.
Oh, cool. You got the video on there.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh.
Didn't it? I thought it just had it.
It did, but it kind of has my information pre-filled here.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is our become a member page. Rebecca made a video about it. So we have what, 3 options. Your first is going to be just a standard monthly membership for $10 a month, recurring, hopefully, or you could just do 1 month at a time. The second option is to choose your own donation amount. And so you could do as low as $5 a month or as high as you wanted, to just kind of add a little more on the membership fee. Or you can just pay for the whole year at once for $90. That's 3 months free if you kind of multiply it out. So all of these you can put on a recurring plan, and you can even make an additional donation on top of your membership fee. I would see probably the people who are doing the annual membership most using the additional donation thing. It's a one-time donation. It's not like it's going to come out every month like the membership fee, but if you are in the position to sign up for an annual membership, we didn't have any way to do kind of a sliding scale for that. So it's just set at $90. And of course, we're happy to take donations on top of that. But I know many people have already donated, and we really appreciate that too.
On the monthly membership,
Yeah.
which is what we imagine most people will be doing, we set that kind of choose your own fee thing because accessibility is super important to us. I mean, that was one of the things, honestly, that stood in the way of even the idea of membership for us for quite a while. It's like, we don't want to be putting barriers to people for anything. And I mean, we had to think long and hard about that too. And as regards, what are we offering to members that isn't getting offered to non-members? That is just something we don't want to do. We want to make sure all of our core offerings are for everyone. But we figured setting like a $5 floor on there makes that reasonably accessible to everyone. And we hope that if anybody wants to be a member and can't do that, that they would just reach out and talk to us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a different sort of ask, because previously, you've been able to donate to the foundation on like a one time, I feel like I was helped, so I'm going to donate one time, but we are doing, ongoing work. And maybe if you're like a regular participant on the support groups, maybe it makes sense for you to just pitch in a little bit every month, just because you're going to be at the meetings rather than I'm going to make a larger one-time donation. Hopefully that's just another option for people. I kind of started thinking about this on the Patreon level. I didn't really connect with being a member of a nonprofit. I'm a member at REI or Costco where I kind of buy things, but then I remembered how much I do on Patreon and supporting people. And that's kind of the work that we're doing, putting out videos and content and our other programs like the helpline.
I love that model. That's how, I mean, it was that conversation when you described it to me that way that really finally clicked for me with the idea of membership. It was, you know, there's somebody out there doing some useful work, creating some useful content. I want to support that. I may or may not use it or read or watch everything that they're making all the time, but I want to support what they're doing. That model made sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. And it's different than a one-time donation. All right. And the benefits that we came up for this are, again, not anything exclusive. We want to keep all of our stuff free and open to everyone, but we're going to do a little more for just kind of distilling information for our members. And I think the one big benefit that no one else will really have, or that's kind of changing going forward, is we're just going to, when we publish new YouTube videos, we're going to put those on private for 24 hours, send out a link just to the members. So they'll have early access to the videos. And I know Rebecca and Dr. B's videos have been pretty popular. So if you're interested in those, and if you've been keeping up with them, maybe you'll consider becoming a member and, you know, getting an email every time we put one of those out. I know I've been kind of watching them on my lunch break or in a spare moment because I'm invested and interested. I mean, the sludge presentation, we should talk about Biologic Eye
Oh my
Drops.
God.
I mean, talk about content.
about the
$5. Yeah, $5 a month to to watch the videos. I mean, anyone can watch the videos for free, but just getting that more close connection. We also have a mailing list set up just for Dry Eye Bites. We, like many things in this project, spent 15-20 minutes trying to think of the right name, but we're just really excited to have a little pool of members that we can just, you know, fling off a little email to, hey, we arrived at our booth in Chicago or something, or, you know, here's what we did at the helpline today. Just knowing that there's a segment of people who are more engaged and that we can kind of keep in closer contact with. It's nothing, you know, no one else is going to be missing out on it, but just one perk that we decided on for the members.
There'll be news in there. I mean, you know, a new dry eye drug gets approved, or, you know, any major kind of industry news going on, any super interesting new studies going on, news from our community, new resources and things. I mean, the major stuff is going to always get into our newsletter, and, you know, everything obviously going to be available on the sites, but just having timely notification of what's going on, I think will be a plus there. And then just kind of those windows into our inner circle.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, new content. If we put out a new blog post or something, members will just get a little heads up on their email. Anyone can find that blog post, or maybe we'll put some of them on social media, and they'll definitely appear in the newsletter, but just a different level of kind of engagement or notification for the members. So those are some of the things that you'll get. We're excited to see how this pans out. We only introduced it about an hour ago on the email, so I haven't seen anyone sign up yet, but hopefully we see those start coming in as we talk about it on our groups and put it on social media and everything. So
it's a big step for us, and we're, yeah, very excited about it.
Like Rebecca said, yeah, 4 years in, it's the next step for us. All right. Want to talk a little bit about Biologic Eye Drops? Should I just go to the site for that?
Sure. All right. So in the newsletter, I kind of put a whole lot of the library. This is the first time today that we went out on email with naming the companies and products that we're concerned about. Up to now, it's just kind of gone out on some of our social media, a few Facebook groups, and that's it. If you've been keeping up with the site, you've certainly already seen this, but if this may be new to you. So if you scroll down a little bit there, Aiden, so we've got a lot of information specific to these products now on the site, Regenerize and Stimulize, and we changed around the homepage quite a bit to make it, now that we've built up this quite a large information library based on the investigation that we've done over the last several months. This homepage distills it all down line by line. What is it that the companies are claiming? What is it that we know is not true or incomplete, or what's the real status of things? Scroll back up a little bit, Aiden. Okay. On each of these lines, these things are click-throughs. So you see, okay, Sorry,
Go ahead.
I forgot one, didn't quite see that. Bottle with a preservative-free dropper,
Yeah.
right? Want to know more about that? This is, you can drill through to the detailed information, pictures of the bottles, why we're concerned about those, and then Dr. B's presentation breaking that down. Why does the dropper on a bottle matter? Why do we care? Why is this a safety issue? Why is it such a big deal? Yeah, if you can back up to the home page. Then on all these other ones, like FDA approval, if you go in there, you'll be able to get into some detailed information, and both links to pages that have the kind of legal references and reasoning behind this, and then Dr. B's presentations that walk this through, because these are complex legal issues. At the end of the day, it's a simple binary: is it FDA approved or not? But to come to that conclusion, actually, it's more complicated than it sounds, which is why this issue has become so confusing and just hard for people to kind of wrap their brains around how it works and why. Okay, so the homepage, that's new thing. Then if you can scroll up to the top, Aidan, and the menus we've changed around a bit too. So we've broken it up into information for patients, information for doctors. If you could just hover over those menus, some resources there. So for patients, can you hover over the patients? Yeah, so videos, frequently asked questions, a letter to share with your doctor. If this issue is new to you and you're just kind of getting started with talking to your doctor about it, we really encourage everyone to share information with their doctor before getting into conversation, so the doctor has time to prepare and they're not just blindsided by this, because this is an issue that in many cases the doctor may hear about it first from their patient. This is not something they're hearing from their professional associations or from the industry, unfortunately, and we're hoping to change that. And then the report a problem. We are really concerned that adverse events have not been reported and aren't being reported. That is something that is an industry obligation. When a company hears of an adverse event, somebody calls them, they have an obligation to report those to the FDA. But non-compliant companies that do not comply in general with regulatory authorities, we can't rely on them to report those to the FDA. If the FDA has no database of problems, they won't know, and that won't feed into their enforcement cycles. So we just want to urge people who have a problem, you may or may not know what caused it, but if you had a problem you experienced while using biologic eye drops, it's important to report that. Under the doctor's menu, we've got that second item on the list, that regulatory compliance summary. That's kind of our core legal background and reference document that we've been sharing around to medical professionals. The blog is all the videos, the whole library. Maybe you can just click on that, Aidan, and scroll through them. We've got quite a lot in there at this point. So it's going to be a few featured recent ones at the top. Sludge is, like, I think my top favorite of everything. This is where we get into the detail of Dr. B goes through what's really in the bottle. What does it mean? What happens when you take complex proteins and drop them in some saline and package them up? Are they really there? Are they really viable? Are they able to do what we're told that they're doing for our eyes? What really is in the bottle when it lands in your mailbox? Okay, I'm trying to just go back out to that list and kind of scroll down the blog. Blog.
Yeah, right. That's where we were.
And yeah, just browse through those. A lot more from Dr. B recently. The two at a couple at the top were the first two presentations on Stimulize. That's the you won't eat GMO, but you'll put this in your eyes, 1 and 2. Stimulize is a lesser known drop. I mean, I think it's in pretty broad circulation, but I never hear about it from patients in the groups. It seems very quiet, yet I know there's an awful lot of doctors that are recommending it. It's made of 9% amniotic fluid, but it shares almost 100% issues overlap with the placenta drops Regenerize. All right, and then if you want to just scroll all the way down to the
Mhm.
bottom through those, okay, there's a whole bunch of me on the Regenerize series, and then back to Dr. B's presentations. I think other than sludge, couple of my top favorites are the on-label, off-label, no-label. That's a really core concept. The idea, the difference between off-label prescribing, which is conventional medical practice, something gets approved by the FDA for condition X, and doctors begin prescribing it for conditions Y and Z. That's normal. There's a standard of care that develops for what it is or isn't okay to prescribe things off-label for. But prescribing something or recommending something with no label at all, as in it's gone through absolutely no regulatory process, no oversight, no safety testing, no efficacy testing, that's a whole different world. And Dr. B walks us through what that means and how important it is to just have that information so we can make informed choices about our treatments. All right, I think that actually, could you scroll back up to the menu? Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. I know I can talk about these forever. I think, yep, that was about it.
Awesome.
So just encourage everybody to explore.
I just am putting the links from the presentation in here because I realized I didn't do that yet. Let's see. Yeah, and then I'll just say really quickly, I've updated the calendar page on the site. I'm not going to show it because I want to have our faces on here for at least a little bit of this, but that's on the website. You can register now for everything in Neon on my DEF. So that's that. dryfoundation.org. We have a scleral lens group coming up next week at 5 on Thursday.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, 5 Pacific time on Thursday. And we have our regular dry eye support group next Friday as well at 3 p.m. You can always join us for Dry Eye Foundation live at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Today we had to move it a little earlier, but that's on the schedule for 12:30 Pacific every Friday. And I'm just trying to find my DEF link. There we go. So I can put that on YouTube. It has been a whirlwind of a time getting my DEF set up. We kind of did a crash course in this somewhat exacerbating software, but we got it. Got it launched, and
we're pretty awfully software smart, but that thing just about killed us. I mean, that was hard. We went fast and it was a steep learning curve figuring out how to use that. So I think we deserve to pat ourselves on the back a little bit.
So yeah, go ahead and take a look. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Man, I had another good support group this week. I can't remember if you had any groups, but I'm just really happy with where things are going and meeting people who are looking for people who have shared experiences. That's, yeah, it's nice to be able to offer that. And
love that.
Yeah, just little pieces of advice I think are making a big difference. So anyway, yeah, I think that's it for me. It's right 12 o'clock, so we should.
All right. Oh gosh.
All right. Take care, everyone.